Thanks for
Good
having
morning.
us.
All right. Well, everybody wants that manicure, that great lawn, that beautiful lawn. You've got some tips, especially in this part of the country. Out here in West Texas, usually, now normally it's a different circumstances. Right now we're doing the backstroke, but normally we're pretty dry. And that's the key to conserve money, to conserve water, save money, and have a beautiful lawn. You
Right.
guys got some tips about.
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually got three super simple tips that any homeowner can follow to get through the dry conditions. The first is you want to fertilize your lawn regularly. Putting down every 8 weeks or so something like a Scott's Turf Builder Lawn Food is not only going to make your lawn look better, thicker, and greener right out the gate, but it's also over the long term going to strengthen and fortify the lawn. So once conditions do get back to drier, it's better able to handle them. The second tip would be, you mentioned mowing. How high do you mow your lawn? Second tip is to mow your lawn a little bit higher than you typically would. Once things get a little warmer and drier, you actually want to let your grass get longer, because what that's going to do, it's going to make the roots get deeper as well, so they have access to water that's deeper down in the soil. It's also going to slightly shade the surface of the lawn so that it stays a bit cooler. And then the third thing would be, rely on rainfall as much as you can for your lawn. If you are a person who chooses to water your lawn, I recommend you wait until you absolutely have to do so. Would be to see the grass starts to turn brown, starts to wilt a little bit, and that's when you would water. And if instead you're a person who doesn't, it's actually totally fine to let your lawn go brown and dormant for part of the season. If you follow the first two tips, you fertilize and maintain it well, it's going to bounce back as soon as conditions improve.
Look,
And right now, we're in a cycle here, which is unusual. We've gotten a lot of rain. It's the exact opposite. We've got maybe too much rain. Are there some things that we can do that can help? Because you can, right now, it's a chance of washing out. Chuck just reseeded his lawn, what, a month ago, Chuck?
yeah. And I mean, hey, man, it was looking very brown. Now it's looking very green. And I ain't about all that mowing now, I guarantee you.
Well, hey, that's one of the things that is super nice about maintaining for your lawn when it is more rainfall scenario, because what's going to happen is if you fertilize, it sounds like you recently seeded, that's going to help it a lot, because those roots are going to establish, they're going to get stronger, they're going to hold on to more water. And so that when it is drier, it can handle it. And also it absorbs any bit of rain better that does come. So you'll be set up for success more in the long run that way.
Oh,
That's
get
it.
ready to
That's
mow,
it.
Chuck. Get ready to mow.
Get that lawn ready, Chuck. That's it. That's it. Now, Amy, how can we make it's an oasis, really? Our houses, our lawns, uh, those spaces are places that we can get away from the normal. Any tips on how to make them more family inducive, more fun inducive during the summer months?
Yeah, I've got 3 tips to kind of make your garden and landscape beds look better for the season and actually make every bit of water that you do put into it count when you do water. And the first is to make sure that you're starting with good soil. So whether you have hard clay soil, water doesn't like, it likes to sheet off from it, or you got sandy soil that the water just runs through very fast. If you incorporate organic matter like Miracle Grow garden soil into your garden beds, it's going to help the soil maintain the water, hold the water where the plants need it. It's also going to help the water penetrate into that soil better. So once you've got your soil all set up and you've got your plants planted, mulch your beds. So put a nice thick layer of mulch down in your beds when you're done planting. And what that's going to do is, one, is going to make your landscape beds look really nice for the season, but it's also going to slow evaporation of the water out of the soil so that the plants have it longer. And then once that's all done, the third is to make sure you're watering correctly. So directing that water at the base of the plants. I don't like using overhead sprinklers when I water my landscape beds. I either like to get in there with a hose or put soaker hoses down, because that directs the water to the soil and the roots where the plants really need it.
You have a high level of evaporation when you use those sprinkler type heads. The soaker hoses give you a more efficient watering trace, don't they?
Absolutely. Soaker hoses are much more efficient with watering.
Look, by me being here in Amarillo, Texas, the heart of the Panhandle, there are some tips that you can give us that are strictly for this area that wouldn't work anywhere else in the United States. What's the secret to the lawn maintenance and care here? Give me some tips on that.
Yeah, so I think one thing a lot of homeowners don't realize is that not all grass is created equal. And so certain species are going to do better in certain regions than others, are going to withstand certain conditions better than others. And so one thing I like to recommend works super well for you guys is when you're taking a seeding project like the one you just did, I hope you put down a type of grass that's going to be naturally more drought resistant. We're talking about something like a Bermuda grass,
Right.
even look at something like a St. Augustine. But my recommendation would be use some Bermuda grass. That's going to give you the most naturally drought tolerant lawn you can get for the area so that it has that withstand of pressure, even if you don't have a whole lot of other ability to maintain the lawn.
Whoa.
I tell you one thing that you're always that just scares me, and I'm a gardener. I'm a lawn person. I'm a gardener. But the when you go into a home store or the wherever and you look at the products available, it's always like, oh, I don't know what this is. Is it wise to get a soil test to find out what nutrients your soil needs? And where do you go for that expert advice? Is it in store? Can we go to Scott's? Where do we find out how to use? Because you can turn a great lawn into nothing very
That's
quickly
true.
by
That's true.
Yeah, absolutely. There are a ton of resources that we have available. If you check out our website, www.scottsmiraclegrow.com, there are tons of links and resources to learn more. It can be useful to look at something like a soil test. The biggest thing is making sure that you're giving the lawn the nutrients that it needs. And that's going to look a little bit different at different parts of the year as well. So we've got a lot of resources available as well to tell you at this time of year, I live in this region, what should I be putting down? And, over the course of the season or 2 seasons, you can really, really get your lawn in a more sustainable state. So you can almost get it on autopilot once it's in that really strong position.
And Amy and Matthew, let's be honest, this is not a 3-month out of the year thing. This is something you've got to work on and be a part of it and be tuned into. 12 months out of the year. If you want that putting green lawn, it takes a little work, does it?
Absolutely, especially in your part of the woods down in Texas. It really is a year-round thing. We're here in Ohio, it's kind of seasonal. We get to take the winter months off.
Right.
You guys have to look at it 12 months out of the year.
Yeah, it is. And Scott Miracle Grow and their family can help you get through that. All you have to do is go to their website. Give that to them again, Matthew, that website again.
Yeah, it's www.scottsmiraclegrow.com.
And you can find out the tips. Right now, we have this joke around here. We get 16 inches of rain a year. You ought to be here the day it falls. Right now, we've got flooding, which is unusual for this part of Texas right now. But as we get into the summer, we'll start getting into those hundreds and those 100-degree weather days. And it'll take a toll on your lawn. You can find out what's the best way to keep a strong, healthy root system. You can also find tips on how to improving your landscaping to conserve water and to get that beautiful space to relax in. All you have to do is go to scottmiraclegrow.com to find out more information. Amy, Matthew, thank you so much. Have a great summer. Be careful up there in Ohio.
Hey, thank you very much.
You.
You too.
Have a great
See
day.
you.